how do you feel that psychedelics and love really are connected?
For one, it's simply an intuitive thing. So people who have worked with psychedelics oftentimes will report feelings of intense love, particularly with something like MDMA, which really activates the love centers, but also with any of the psychedelics, with mushrooms, with ayahuasca, there's this way that it taps us into what is of central importance. And it allows all of the just kind of meaningless accumulations that we carry with us to fall away. And it helps us focus on what is truly important. And really, when you get down to it, love is that which is most important, that which is most sacred, that which, if we can tap into it and keep our attention there, we behave in ways that are so much better for ourselves and the world. So we live in this world in which we face a complex of dire predicaments. There are probably a dozen or more different ways that we are potentially on the verge of self-destruction in unprecedented ways ever before in human history. You know, there's things like the threat of nuclear war, but there's also things like the threat of artificial intelligence, and there's what's going on with the climate, and there's any number of things that
being able to feed myself, the discrepancy in the ability to afford, to be able to afford my living expenses, right? Based upon what's happening in the world. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's
there's so many threats.
Yeah. So we face this complex of dire predicaments, and it feels like people feel this sense of teetering on the edge, and we're teetering between our destruction and our salvation, and things are happening faster and faster and faster. And so to my mind, how do we navigate our way through this properly such that we don't dash the great human ship against the rocks and lose everything? One way, and really the only way that I see as working as efficiently as we need to because of the timeliness of everything that we're facing, is psychedelics, and rolling these out on
like a vaccine. This should have been the vaccine.
It is. It's kind of a love vaccine, right? Or a vaccine that inoculates us against the direness, the darkness, the aspects of our culture that dehumanize us. And so if we can roll this out properly while creating the proper infrastructure for safety, while creating the proper sense of sacredness that needs to accompany this, so it's not just a pill that is prescribed by a doctor and they say, go off on your own and take this and this will cure you. No, it needs to be something that's embedded in something greater. And it doesn't need to be something that every single person on the planet participates in. Again, each individual gets to use their sovereignty to decide if this is right for them. And if we can unroll this properly, then this is the thing, perhaps, that will allow us to enter globally, communally, into a state of love, into a state of awareness and understanding of what is actually important, that hopefully will create a circumstance in which we can properly navigate ourselves out of this complex of dire predicaments into our salvation, which is, to use the term that Charles Eisenstein termed or came up with, the more beautiful world that our hearts know is possible. This is where our ship is navigating toward, if we can get our individual selves into proper alignment. And you can spend a lifetime in talk therapy, and maybe that's going to get you there. Or you could spend...
I've tried.
Yeah. You could spend a lifetime of doing your yoga and your meditation, and certainly that won't hurt. Or we can interface with this great mysterious other known as the psychedelic, and we can awaken ourselves instantaneously. And provided we have the cultural context to facilitate proper integration, then everything can shift rapidly. And that's what we need, is rapid transformation.
We do.
Because we're teetering.
Yeah.
And it's like, if the right wind comes along,
I know,
we could fall in the wrong direction.
Yeah.